Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's service. Welcome to June. My name is Palumi David. I am with two special guests.
My name is Nena Ipeme.
My name is Shubami Davids.
And Tinena is actually one of our Igniting teachers, so I'm very excited that she's with us this service. So for the month of June, we are going to be focusing on career, money matters, and today we're going to be talking about choosing a career because teenage life is basically transitioning from childhood to adulthood, and one of the major things we have to think about is choosing a career and what course we study in university. And Tina is going to be here with us, give us real expert advice on what to do because she has passed through that and she has shared it with us in church, but she's here to share it with the whole world now.
Okay.
So, firstly, what is a career?
I feel a career is an occupation, a job, the work you want to do for a period of time in your life. That's what I feel a career is.
So, the course we take in university most times directs us to the career we want to do. So, Antonina, how did you choose the course you want to do in university? And are you still doing what you chose?
That's a very interesting question because, yes, I know you said that the course you choose, most times, I like when she said most times, I'll change that narrative from most times to sometimes would direct you to the career that you choose. Because today, a lot of people study things that they do not necessarily practice. So I'm an engineer by training.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, I did chemical polymer engineering, 6 years in school, and today what I practice, I have a career of over 10 years in sales and marketing. So there's literally no correlation between those two things. So yes, in an ideal situation, you should choose a course that would be in line with the kind of career you want to. But then, like I said, in ideal situation, there are times you do not have that opportunity, but you just have to be clear about some core values. That whatever course you do, I would need to have a career. There's a future, okay? And your career should really be about your passion, should be about your interest, the things you like doing. And I'm sure we'll talk more about how, like, maybe really to answer your question, the career I chose and the course I did, why I had to do the course. So I had to do the course basically because of influence. And sometimes, maybe even before we talk about it, I just want you guys to also share with me, I was at this stage in your life where I know in choosing that course, there is some influence. So what really influences, your thoughts around career today or the kind of courses you do? So just tell me.
I think firstly is our parents, and to choosing a course in university, they choose for many teenagers, and it's a real battle, especially for African teenagers. Because our parents want us to do maybe what they have wished of doing and they did not have the chance. So we're like,
something that was
experiments.
Really?
Yes.
You think they are living their lives through you?
Sometimes,
your parents. Who else?
Maybe aunties and uncles, because you can see an auntie that is very rich. She has this job. I want to be rich like her.
Yeah.
So you now choose your career somehow because of that, just to get money.
And trust me, you guys are absolutely right. So back to my own story. So you talked about parents, you talked about aunties and uncles, and I'm sure there's one core thing which is friends. Yeah. So for me, it was a mix of parents and friends. So my parents obviously wanted me to do a career that had a name. You had to be a doctor and an engineer. So if I say I'm a salesperson, what's my title today? So there's no title. Am I going to say, there's this thing of my child is a doctor. Okay, and then I had friends, everybody there wanted to be a doctor or engineer. That was like the reigning course those days. So they actually influenced my choice. My best friend then, she's in the UK and we're still very good friends. So she was a very good, technical drawing. She was good in design, and I was also good in technical drawing. And those days, once you're really not about those days, even now, when you're smart, people begin to choose careers for you. Or maybe when you talk a lot, they say she'll be a lawyer or she's bold. All those yada things. It was not so much, and it's confused with your interest, because we're still going to talk about interest. So this guy in Florence, my friend was going to do engineering and she was going to school somewhere, and like, what are you doing? We all just follow what our friends did, and I failed. and I chose engineering. That's the point. So I went to go and do engineering. But then, in my third year, I just began to realize that, man, this thing is not really for me. Okay. And then I realized that while I was in school, I was already selling things. There's nothing legal that I didn't sell in school. So I'll buy, like, recharge cards. Those days was a big business. So I'll sell data in the hostel. I'll buy, foodstuffs. I'll come and I'll resell. There was everything. I'll buy jewelry and I'll resell. And then I realized that one of my passion is that I could do it, comfortably. Yeah. So that's how I arrived at doing engineering. Wow. So, but like I said, in an ideal situation, your career should be in line with the course. But if you find out that because of these influences, and let's be honest, these influences are there, sometimes you cannot, trust me, are you going to pay your school fees? So as much as today now we are able to convince our parents, we talk about how to use aunties or uncles help to convince your parents to see, like, but if you can't change it and you have to do a course, what is critical is try to discover yourself. So that's what I did in university. I discovered myself and I found the natural, true salesperson in me. I knew I loved brand, I liked marketing, and I was like, I needed to follow a career. It was still not clear, and a lot of things will not be clear, at first, but you just keep going. And so I did engineering. So the basic principle was I knew that I had to finish well. I was already doing engineering. I will not just throw away the course, but I had to be, if possible, the best, because a first degree opens the door for you. You don't want to have a bad result per se, but what happens is that you have a good degree and you will find out that once the door is open, you can become anything. Then you begin to look at other ways. So that's how I did engineering, but at that point I was clear that I was going to follow a career in sales and marketing.
Yeah, because I know in primary school I've always wanted to do something in law, but then in primary 6, when friends influenced me a lot, and I remember in our yearbook there's a part where you say we are finishing that, or what do you want to be? And I chose human rights consultant. And to now, I don't even know what that is. Like, I just chose it because a group of my friends were doing it. And it doesn't even make any sense for me now because I don't even know what it is. So friends really can shift what we really are interested in. And even in primary school, secondary school, you see us, like, you can be interested in doing STEM club or doing different clubs. But because our friends are not doing it, we now push our interest aside to follow what our friends are doing, and that really affects a lot. And it might seem so insignificant, but then in the long run, you see, I could have been spending so much time building this passion, following this interest, but instead I was busy copying my friends and trying not to be left out. So it's really important that as teenagers, we have to sacrifice friendship time, sacrifice being left out, and focus on ourselves and our interests and building our interests. So, Shubomi, have you ever experienced a situation where you felt you're not paying attention to what do you want to be when you're older?
I want to be like a designer and architect, interior designer and architect.
Have you always felt like you want to be that?
No. It just started recently when I was in secondary school. Like building houses, then designing, drawing, anything that has to do with houses.
So how did you choose, like, how did you come to that conclusion that I can see myself in this career for a long period of time?
Because I never thought I was very good at drawing. So I showed mommy one of my drawings and she was like, you're very good at this, that maybe you should look into it. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like anything that has to do with houses, like I just like the outlook of houses, the inside, anything that has to do with houses. Then I was like, yes, I can do this, I can focus on it more. Because I was not really focused, I was just drawing just for free time.
Yeah.
Then my mom was like, you should focus on this. Like I started looking into it.
So let me just jump in there. When you talked about design, and like you said, it started just in secondary school.
Yes.
Now where you're realizing that this is an interest. It's very important. Okay, my message to every teenager is that it's important that once you identify your interest, please spend a bit more time to understand more about it, practice more.
Yes.
Practice more about it. Don't just assume that oh this is an interest, okay, and you don't foil it. I think basically foil it. Do more things like you were drawing. Draw, a bit more. Share your drawings, and then this leads me to another part where I talk about if you I think Benumi asked you, how do you now connect that to say this is a career you want to be? So once it looks like this is a career I would like in the future, please, everybody needs to start living a life of design and not accident. So I've shared my own personal experience. To an extent, it was some form of accidental discovery. But you have the privilege of this kind of knowledge today, all right, where you spend time with people like me. You have people that are also sharing their experiences with you. I will add, I was a first child, so definitely I'm not always you almost like the experiment one most times, okay? And I didn't have a lot of like aunties, uncles that were in the career path per se to share experience. So one of the things you have to do differently for everyone listening is that please live your life. Say, I will live my life by design and not by accident. Okay?
Being deliberate.
Meaning, being deliberate. That's a good word. So, I know that I like drawing. I've seen I like drawing. There's data information everywhere. Google, who are the architects today? Then understand for different careers. Like, someone may say, I want to be a footballer. Like we talked about football, recently. If you say you want to be a footballer, what is the active years? How long can you be a footballer? So do you want to reframe that instead of saying I want to be a footballer, say I'd like to have a career in sport? Because can you be a footballer for 50 years? Really, you can't. So get knowledge. So there are some things, I only just found out, by accident. But if you're able to be deliberate today, so based on, we started first from where? Your strengths, your interests, and your things that you like. You highlight this. These are very practical steps, okay? Like you like drawing. Now, what will I do with that? Oh, I like drawing. Now, Google. Who are the people that, from drawing and design? Pick one or two people that I can mirror their career, or I can learn one or two things. Then I begin. It's not too early, to be honest, to begin to design the kind of job you want to do in the future. So I didn't have that. I didn't have that opportunity. But now I know better. If I could sit down, I would call the role title architecture, because today architecture as it is. But who says we can't define the architecture of the future? So I'll write design architecture. This is what the person will be doing. And that's why I talk about living deliberately and writing the life you want. I write this what the person will do. These are the kind of skills, these are the kind of houses. You put it down, and guess what? Career is a journey. This interest you have today may change, but if you document some of these things, if you're deliberate about some of the things, one day it will make sense. It will just all come together. Definitely. So please, let's all live our lives by design and not by accident. So this whole career thing is like a compass. You just go through it. It's like a career compass that leads you. I was telling an example. Isn't it better that when you leaving the house, you put it on your map that I'm going somewhere, and then you take a wrong turn, right? You find that what happens is that the map recalculates.
Yes.
But it's because you had put on the map first that I am going somewhere. That is someone that is living a life by, design, not by accident. Talk less of, I enter the car, I'll just start driving. Even if you're going the wrong path, you don't even know, all right? So don't just throw away this interest that you have today. And I'm sure we'll all be fine.
And I think one important thing that we need to take more seriously is being interns, working in the past we want to do. So I remember some of our schools might even push that out. But even without school pushing it out, if you decide, okay, I want to be this, and you notice an interest, you're being deliberate, as Auntie Nena said, and then you now look for businesses around you, go and talk to them. Like, even if you're not getting paid, I want to just see how it is for a week or two or a month.
Excellent.
And you might not see that this thing, I cannot do it for the rest of my life. Or just 1 month or 1 day can tell you. And even if you're not going to be there, that's an experience you can write in your CV later. So all those things will end up working in your favor. So if you notice that, okay, I want to be an architect, she can look for different firms around her. Ask that, okay, I want to volunteer for a month, 2 weeks. They don't need to pay me. Just want to experience what I might be facing when I'm for the long run. And then you might notice that, this day I can't do this for it's a very helpful way of knowing. Because I know some people, when they now land with the career of their dreams, they are just stuck like, is this what I
Is this really what I thought
it would be? They're so clueless about it. And even we need to get accustomed to the workplace, working, having jobs, having that responsibility, because we have been children for a long time. Mommy and daddy have been taking care of us, but
so much.
very soon we're going to be thrown into the realities of life. having a job, all those things, and we need to get used to it. So we need to start looking into interning, volunteering into things that will help us. So Antonina, did you ever do that?
Internship. Yes, of course I did. And now, on internship, it's good that it's back to that thing around design and not accident. Because just assume now, we are talking about internship now, so we say, okay, I like internship, I want to be an intern, and then you now decide I want to go and do internship in a restaurant per se and just be doing like a waiter. Is that your career path? Is that really what you want to be? Exactly. But some people just carry, I want to be an intern. Like they say, internship is good, serve, and you just go to. You're so desperate. Someone was giving a story like, guys, okay, let me look at. Some people misconfuse this thing of interest. So like there are guys that I know before that, because they're really good in making, they are fun people, they're like party starters per se. So like a party house, we want you to come and just help us and be starting parties. That's how they started. Well, that's like living their life by accident. Meanwhile, if someone had a design, and to be honest, it's because I'm good, I'm fun. Is there anything else he could have done if there was a design of saying I'd like to do it? But they just had that offer. It was two guys actually. They were sharing their story once, and that's how they started doing party starters. So they have to come into the party house. There are people that are party starters. They start conversations, and but he got tired at the point. So the point around internship I was trying to make here is it's very important that if you have a design, you will look for internships in line of your career. Just imagine, everybody says, and it's right, you have to start somewhere. You start low, but just imagine starting on the wrong ladder, like down on the wrong ladder, when you're just, so please guys, don't have a plan and do internship. So I did internship. Honestly, it wasn't this easy. Getting internships then was very difficult. And I think it's still difficult now, but there's more information.
Yeah.
But I remember that my first internship, I was reading polymer engineering. So my first internship was in a plastic industry. That was my first internship. I spent 3 months there. Wow. So like in the plants where they were, is a refinery person where we are the manufacturing plants where we're bringing out polyethylene, plastics, and all the work I was really doing there was filing, but it was in the factory, and that was when I was very clear that I ain't doing this for my life, because first the smell of the place. Like it was always hot. You can't be cool. You can't be on flick. You can't be fine in that place. You wear all these
masks and
overall and clothes. God. And I was like, the place was always so hot. And then the engineers were so proud of themselves, so we are doing this, it's coming out. And I was not feeling them. But that was my first internship. That was the first introduction to saying, but I had to do it. School makes you do it. I did like 3 months there. Then what I liked about it was that they were paying me money. That was the first time I ever had some money. Then after that, I think I did another internship. I got to Lagos. Then I couldn't get any. I needed to do an internship in my field, because part of polymer engineering, you go through to these industries. But then I didn't get. Then my uncle helped me set up that I worked in the bank of industry, an internship. That was looking back, and I liked the place because there were people dressing nicely. I liked there were babes, even if there were a lot of old people also at that point. So I just knew this is not bad. But that was an exposure I was learning. So with internships, as much as there's design, you may have to do different things, but you remember in your mind where you're going to. So there are internships, and just a few tips on how to get internships today. I think it's good I dropped that now on, is to say, please, whatever, like you have a design, whatever company you think I would like to intern in. So let me use Shubumu's example of, you like design, so the architectural, or let's even look at maybe some of the good architectural firms that are well known. So you look at their values, you look at what kind of programs they have, you draw up a small CV. You can have a CV at this stage. You should. In fact, I was shocked when I met a teenager that gave me his complimentary card. I'm telling you, and he just wrote teenager. It was ridiculous, but I was like, this kind of person is not like, at that age I was not doing this. So put it down. So look for those kind of companies, look at their values, Now look at your values. Then when you're sending in your application, ensure that your application links to the values of the company. So imagine a company that says to you, our values are integrity, or so you can say stuff like, I'm Pelumi, I stand for integrity. I've always been strong around integrity, so I'm a best fit for the company. So internships are really, really good. Yeah. So.
And I know a lot of teenagers will be saying that, yes, we know the career we're taking, but our parents won't allow us. And Antonina has shared her story. And if you now find yourself in the course you don't want to do, you should find a way. Like, if you're really passionate about something, nobody can really discourage you of it, as like our parents can really throw you off your path completely. So if you find yourself in a course that you don't want to do, find a way that you can monetize your passion, your skills, your interests, because that's how you can even show your parents that, yes, I'm still doing your course, but I'm still strong in this. So don't let anyone discourage you from the path you want to take. And obviously, as Christians, we have even an advantage because we can go to God in prayers and talk to Him. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, that's our scripture for this service.
So do you want to read it for us, Shubomi?
Jeremiah 29 verse 11, we are using the NIV version. So Shubomi will read it for us today.
Yes.
Jeremiah
29 verse 11.
I think I know it even without reading
yes,
it. But we should know it.
And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future."
Hallelujah. Good. And you know something, just in addition to that, somewhere in Proverbs where it says, commit your ways to the hands of the Lord and He will direct your path. That is honestly what makes us different as Christian teenagers. Is that, yes, you live your life by design, okay, but you actually have something extra that someone like you, who does not have Christ, does not have.
Sure.
I'm telling you, because God actually directs our path. We know just to the tip of our nose. That is all we know. No matter how clever a design you have, in the next 10 years I'll be this. You don't know.
Life
nothing.
Life can happen.
After all, Corona just turned and we are here. Like, it just happened. So you don't know what. But what you have that is different from others is the Spirit of God, and then God's guidance. God actually can design your path. He's the one that knows what career path is best for Pelumi. He knows it, and if you begin to pray about it, so there were some core things I kept praying as a young teenager. I used to pray about greatness, and that's also why I'm also in this ministry, to say, God, I want to be great. I want to be excellent. So their values, I want to be excellent. I really don't know what I want to be, but God, please guide my path. And you see, as we keep praying about it, we live our life like this, and I'm sure God will help us. Yeah.
So we're not too young to start praying at all. Start praying about what you want to do, because sometimes it can be very uncertain and it can be quite scary because you don't know what will happen. Like Corona can happen, like different things can happen. But if you have God by your side, it will work out for you in the end. And by the grace of God, we will all be great teenagers that will change the world in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So that's all for this service. For next service, we're going to be talking about money. So please tune into our services. Please stay safe. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.